Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
So they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, "Man, why are you making this top 15 video?" Welcome to Watchmojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 5 events of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. For this list, we've looked across all important events to America and selected the best. For the purposes of this video, we chose events that were specifically important to America, so sorry Tiananmen Square. We'll start with the 1970s.
This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
Number 5. Apple computer invented. Apple's invention of the Apple and the Apple II computers brought lasting effects of widespread computing to everyone. Number 4. Invention of the mobile phone. The mobile phone, invented by Marty Cooper, has led to everyone watching this video carrying a phone in their pocket. It was first showcased by calling the inventors' competition Bell Labs. Number 3. Roe v. Wade. On January 22, 1973, the Supreme Court ruled that the right of privacy extended to women making the decision to have abortions. Number 2. The Great Inflation. The Great Inflation caused stock to drop 40% and unemployment to hit double digits. It had lasting effects on the economy well into the 80s.
Fighter aircraft are poised to swoop down and rake Viet Cong troop concentration.
Number 1. The end of the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War's end marked the end of a war that portrayed an entire decade. There were still effects that surpassed the war, but the best way to categorize the war is by its end. Now on to the 1980s. Number 5. The expansion of Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare and Medicaid are still in use today, so their expansion in the 1980s is still very important.
50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
Number 4. The Chernobyl explosion. Although this did not occur in America, it certainly had lasting effects on the usage of nuclear power, especially in America. Number 3. The Challenger explosion. The Challenger explosion is still considered one of the most remembered space-related tragedies of all time. When two people who grew up in the 1980s were asked what was important, they both mentioned this event. Number 2. Iraq invades Iran. The invasion of Iraq by Iran led to the U.S. involvement in the Iraq and the Iran wars, which were hidden under the guise of diplomacy.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Number 1. The Berlin Wall falls. The Berlin Wall falling marked a large victory for America against communism and was a precursor to the USSR falling. Now to the 90s. Number 5. The Rodney King incident. The Rodney King arrest and following riots set a precedent for police brutality in America involving racial tensions. Number 4. The Oklahoma City bombing. The Oklahoma City bombing was the deadliest terrorist attack until 9/11 in America. 168 people were killed via a truck bombing. Number 3. The Columbine shooting. The Columbine shooting was the school shooting that shifted mindsets away from reactive policies to proactive policies regarding school violence.
It spans the globe like a superhighway. It is called Internet.
Number 2. The World Wide Web. The Internet as we know it today is so ingrained into our lives that its mere release to the public merits a number 2 spot.
Mikhail Gorbachev's dreams of holding the Soviet Union together may have received a death blow today.
Number 1. The collapse of the USSR. The USSR falling marked America's victory over communism, which had arguably consumed America for over 40 years. Do you agree with our list? Which big event did we overlook? For more memorable top 10s published daily, be sure to subscribe to Watchmojo.com.